We see it's transparent. You can see the other side. Lip construction. So now maybe I could do the arms and the legs, or maybe I could do the head. Every pose has a line of rhythm running through it. So I'll decide first on the head. It will help to get the sense of the feel. Now project an arm. See this arm? Foreshortening, very important. So just a little bit of foreshortening on both arms. So you're doing cross contour. I try not to have the arm come too straight off the forearm. Always a little bit of a change of direction. What? Didn't miss much. So you have a gray marker for the earlier slide. And maybe bulk up the character a bit. So the cross contours are very important. They tell you which direction you're looking at the arm. They not only tell that to the person viewing it, but they also tell it to you when you're drawing it. They help you to reinforce what angle you're looking at the character from. You always have to be thinking in 3 dimensions when you draw for comics. If you think flat, your drawings will look flat. If you think in the round, your drawings will feel round. So there's one quick one. C curve running through the figure. It's so important to have a strong gestural line of action. There'll usually be a very gentle C curve in one way or the other, or a very gentle S curve working through the figure. So what I want to do next is a standing figure, because I know so many young artists have a problem with stiffness in standing figures. They can look very rigid. And so maybe I can share with you a couple of little tips to avoid that problem.
Jadi saya ingin memberikan contoh soal standing figure atau figur yang berdiri, karena beberapa gambar yang saya lihat ada kakuan atau stiff. Jadi saya akan beri contoh langsung.
So here again are the torso and hips constructions. You'll notice that there's a built-in change of angle through the shoulders and the hips. It's different. And when you do that, it starts to make it more interesting. If they're perfectly lined up, the chances are it will start to look a little stiff.
Pusatnya ada di dada dan pinggul. Jadi kalau hanya dibuat garis lurus tidak menjadi menarik, tapi kalau ada sedikit pergeseran atau kemiringan bisa menjadi lebih menarik.
In general, the leg that supports the body the most will be more directly underneath the body. The other one can stretch out beyond the body a little more. The hip that is raised is usually raised because that is the leg that is supporting the weight of the body. And it may seem strange to talk to you about weight when this is a hypothetical character, but when you are drawing a comic book character, any character, you want to give them good gesture life, you have to imagine that they're real and that gravity is pulling on them.
Jadi salah satu kaki itu akan menjadi penumbuh, bisa digambar secara lurus, tapi kalau satu kaki lainnya bisa digambar miring untuk memberikan kesan kuat dari karakter itu sendiri. Karakter ini harus hidup dan kesan bahwa dia juga terpengaruhi oleh gravitasi bumi juga harus terlihat. Sehingga salah satu pinggulnya juga terlihat naik.
So in this case, I just want the character to have his hands relaxed at his sides, because sometimes you can get some gestural benefit from having the hands busy doing something. Maybe they're holding a portfolio, maybe they're holding up any kind of bag. But in this case, I want to do the one which is the most difficult for gestural life, which is the person just standing there very simply with hands at their sides.
Jadi saya akan menunjukkan cara menggambar dengan bentuk tangan yang santai. Kita bisa membuat gambar dia sedang memegang tas ataupun memegang sesuatu, tapi saya akan bikin bentuk yang paling mudah.
All right, so the hand basically at the side, but there's a nice flow going on in many parts of the body, not just within the whole body. In this case, we want to stress the S curve, because in this, with the head tilting forward a little, what would normally be a C curve then becomes an S curve, and that's a very powerful tool for you to use in your drawings to give nice gestural flow to a standing figure. S curve for this one. See, look. Yeah. S. Reverse S. Curve.
Jadi saya ingin menunjukkan bentuk dari flow ataupun aliran dari bentuk figur atau gambar manusia ini sendiri, bahwa bisa diputar badannya untuk bisa menunjukkan aliran tubuh yang natural dan bagus.
So that works very well if you have a character with a weight on one leg. And then that creates the, say, justification for having the one hip up and the alternating shoulder up. But what if you have a character with equal weight distributed equally on both legs? Then you can't really be doing the changing up of the shoulders and the hips. Those different angles aren't really going to apply. So you need to find another trick to use to give some gestural life to that kind of standing pose.
Kalau salah satu kaki menjadi penumpu dan kaki lainnya bebas, artis bisa dengan bebas menunjukkan perubahan di pinggul dan shoulder pundak. Tapi kalau bagaimana dengan dua kaki yang seimbang secara gravitasi, saya akan menunjukkan itu.
So this time the shoulders and the line of the hips are the same, but what we've done is push the hips forward just a little bit relative to the torso. If you saw it from the side,
jadi saya menempatkan dua kaki pada gravitasi secara seimbang, tapi pinggul itu agak dimajukan ke depan.
so again, just by pushing the hip area forward a little bit, and it doesn't have to be extreme, just sedikit, then you get a nice gestural flow again. The S curve resumes.
Jadi dengan memajukan pinggul ke depan sedikit saja, tidak terlalu banyak, artis akan kembali bisa mendapatkan garis lengkung S yang mengalir natural dan bagus.
Also notice in the examples, I'm making a point of turning the head into a different angle, different direction relative to the torso. If you're looking to eliminate stiffness in your posing, don't have the head perfectly lined up with the chest. Try cocking the head one way or the other, or turning it one way or the other, just even a little bit. It makes all the difference.
Jangan menempatkan kepala secara lurus dengan dada, lebih baik digeser atau ditengokkan sedikit ke arah lain sehingga akan memberikan kesan yang lebih bagus.
Should we tackle foreshortening?
Ya.
Foreshortening?
Shortening what?
Foreshortening.
Foreshortening.
Yeah. Foreshortening.
Oh, close up.
Yeah. I typically, if I'm drawing strongly foreshortened arm or a leg, then I like to usually get that hand or foot in position first, and then find my way back to the connection to the body.
Biasanya saya akan menggambar tangan dan kaki dulu sebelum akhirnya membuat koneksi ataupun sambungan ke badan.
It's good to think about the cross sections that you would be seeing, the shape of each cross section when you're dealing with this, and you just stack the shapes on top of each other. Also, you need to keep the cross contour curvatures working for you, and not fighting the perspective. So that's a general one. Let's go more extreme with it, but it's the same principle. Stacking up the cross contour shapes on top of each other to create that sense of foreshortening. Of course, you have to do the shortening that's needed, but you have to be careful not to narrow the form too much while you're shortening it. It's different.
Bisa memendekkan ketika menggambar lengan hingga terlihat pendek, tapi tidak boleh disempitkan.
Typically when I'll draw a hand with the fingers spread, I'll do what I just did. I'll put the last and the first fingers, I'll describe an arc in between them, and then I'll put the fingers that are in the middle in later.
Biasanya saya menggambar tangan terbuka itu membuat lingkaran dulu, baru kemudian menambahkan jari-jari di antara lingkaran itu.
There's a flaring out, an elliptical form, an elliptical shape, just below the elbow, and it has a very distinctive angle to it.
Ada bentuk elips di bawah siku yang terlihat sangat jelas.
Normally, you can force a change, you can push the arm around, but under most relaxed situations, the arm will take on that distinctive angle at that point.
Pada situasi normal bisa didorong untuk membuat garis lurus, tapi itu pada situasi yang tidak normal.
Of course, sometimes you're foreshortening away from the body or away from the viewer and not towards the viewer. You have to be able to use the same method, the same technique for that.
Kamu harus bisa menunjukkan teknik untuk menunjukkan gambar ketika gambar itu jauh dari pembaca atau reader.
I like to do a center line down legs. I don't know what it is. I don't find it as important to do center lines on arms, but center lines on your mannequin figure, front and back, very important during the torso and hips. They will help to make you understand what kind of twisting or bending or curving you're putting into the figure. But then beyond that, leg, it's also very useful.
Garis tengah untuk gambar mannequinmu bisa membantumu menentukan kemana badan figurmu harus bergerak, memutar ke depan, membungkuk, mengarah ke belakang.